Here we go. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work or not. Let me see here. I'm trying to set my laptop up here. And let me turn the preacher man off there. Drive me nuts. And let's see. If I click on that, is that going to work? I think it's going to work. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, let's see what we got. Stand by. Oh, we got the audio on. Turn that down. Audio off. Oops. Oh, got it. I hit the wrong button. Hey, when I do that.
Rev up your engine.
Oh, shut up.
Tonight.
Oh, God. I hate when I do that. I want to hit this. There we go. Oops. Yeah. Audio's off. Okay. Oh, we don't want to show that. All righty. So we're down in my workshop, and there's a big delay from me broadcasting to when I'm seeing it on my laptop. Let me just tell you what the configuration is here. Down in my workshop, it's what is it? 62 degrees, and it's about 40 something outside. The noise you hear in the background, besides my babbling, that's the dryer. I did a wash of clothes so I could turn the dryer on to help warm it up out here. So my previous little short video, I was telling you that the solar flux index was 75. Also, the noise level has gone up too. So I'm down here. I was trying my Grundig Satellite 800 with my 31-foot MFJ vertical antennas to see if I could hear anything. And when I first started, I was hearing quite a few stations, and the noise level was way down. Well, that was like somebody flipped the switch, maybe because I turned the laptop on. That was good. Let me turn the audio on. Yeah, see, it's kind of bad now. That was coming in loud and clear. That was the preacher man on 9262. And I thought it was going to be good this morning, but all of a sudden, it's like, somebody flipped the switch. I don't know if it's because I turned that little laptop on. This is not a girly magazine. This is actually a RadioShack catalog that I found the other day when I was actually cleaning up my workshop. I have probably 20 computers out here that I've collected last year because I recycle computers. There's a setup on the internet called Free Cyclers where you can recycle stuff for free. And so I took it on as a hobby about 3 years ago to recycle computers because I like to play with computers. And since I'm not working now, I don't get to use computers anymore. So I thought, that'd be a good hobby. So I've been recycling computers, getting computers, fixing them if they need them fixed, clearing off all the previous owner files, doing a disk wipe so they could not recover the old files, and then giving them away. Well, I've been overwhelmed by the people that have given me computers to recycle. So I kind of got backlogged, especially since it was the holidays. So I had, like I said, about 20 computers here, and I had no room left in my workshop. Matter of fact, I might take down temporarily my web page and show you what I'm talking about here. This is just kind of open loop, so no telling what might happen, what might crash. We're just going to wing it. And like I say, I've got my little laptop set up, which is right over here, so I can monitor the chat. Let me see. What do I have to do to untangle this cable? Okay, so we got that loose. Now I can actually take the webcam off of the mount. And now I can try to move slowly so I don't make anybody nauseous. So there is, this webcam doing a pretty good job. Matter of fact, this is my best webcam. There's my setup. There's my computer that I'm using to do the broadcast. Let me ask a question before I go any further. How is the video and audio? This computer, which is right there, is an old Dell Optiplex 755, and it's not very powerful. And I could be dropping out, either because the computer's not keeping up, which it seems to be doing, or my internet provider is not keeping up, because both of these two computers down here in my workshop are on Wi-Fi, and the signal is not that good down here. So I'm looking in the chat room right now, and I see Flintock. Hi, Flintock. And I see Ronald. Happy DXing to you. I was hoping to do some this morning. Wow, I'm moving the camera a lot, and I didn't realize it. Okay, so what I was going to show you, video is 810, audio 810. Well, that's better than I expected. The first thing you will notice when you have slow internet connection, because I have right this moment probably 20 or more things hanging on my router on Wi-Fi. I got phones, tablets. I've got these two computers down here, my Google toy and my Alexa. They're all hanging on the Wi-Fi. So the first thing to go when my internet provider gets overwhelmed with my signal is the audio starts breaking up. So let me know if you hear the audio breaking up. All righty, now what I was going to show you, I hope I'm not making you too dizzy, is right over there you can see the carpet. You could not see, let me get my knee out of the way and back up a little bit. A couple of days ago, you could not see that carpet. It was totally covered up with computers and other stuff. And so I got rid of, probably got rid of a half a dozen computers this week. Either gave them away or they were just not worth repairing. So I put them out on the curb and they disappeared within an hour. And so I still have, let's see, am I pointing to it? Behind that little red piece of luggage there is 1, 2, 3 computers, and next to it, which you cannot see, it's kind of behind the bookcase there, is 8 more computers. And then I have a bunch more over here. Down there, down there is about 4 more. So I'm getting there. And then I've got 2 stacked up there. I've got a couple of laptops there. And so we're getting organized, I think. And then, of course, this is the setup I'm using right now. And then over here, there's a scanner radio in the background there behind that laptop. And there's my ICOM 706 ham radio. And then there's Big Bertha right there. That's what I was listening to. And here's a whole bunch of other junk. And if we switch around here, I figure since I got the camera loose, I might as well do a tour. Hope it don't break the connection. We've got some more radios up there, some on the bench over there. That's a Collins that was repainted and those plastic labels put on it. The guy did a nice job of that. Belonged to my father-in-law. And there's a Helicrafter, a Hammerlin HQ-129. There's a Hammerlin 170A. Hold on, we're going to swing around here. There's some more big boat anchors that I can't even move anymore. And then some test equipment, more test equipment up there. There is a Helicrafter SX110, I believe. Yes. But we're getting organized. That's the thing, you know, we're getting organized. Now, let me, I think what I was going to do also, and let me see if I can get this back on the mount. Let's see. This is this little thing right here. This is my extension so that I can mount my camera pointing down onto my desktop, which I'm going to try to do right now. So we can take a look at that old RadioShack catalog. I can get this to go back in there. Come on, you little devil. Like I say, I just thought, what the heck? I'm going to try this and see if it works. I don't know if the setup's going to work or not, but I was going to try it. Oh, let's see. Oh, darn, his laptop's trying to do an update. I haven't used his laptop in a long time, and it's trying to do an update. Okay, now, let me look at the chat room real quick. And we have in the chat room, Flintock says, the video looks good to me. That's good. Hope the audio is good. That's usually the first thing that goes is the audio. Looks tighter than my workshop. Well, you didn't see my workshop about a week ago. Yeah, it was just jam-packed. Video dropouts, 5 seconds. Well, that's not good. That's not good. I don't like the video dropouts. Maybe it was maybe you were noticing dropouts because I was moving a lot. Now that I'm stable and the actual image is not changing that much, you won't see as many dropouts. So anyway, we're down in our workshop, and in my cleaning up, I found a bunch of RadioShack catalogs. I get every time a new one came out, I grabbed it and I kept it because it's a great reference. And so I found some that I didn't know I had. This one is 2002, last big RadioShack catalogs. And I'm just going to kind of go through this. If you've got any questions or comments about anything, put them in the chat and I'll try to answer them. Let me get this one. Hopefully not disconnect the camera. If we disconnect the camera, the show is over. I did bump the camera. Sorry about that. Alrighty, we're just going to take a look at this thing. Back then, 2002, RadioShack carried a lot of stuff, and they had some pretty big stores. I would estimate in our area, in a 20-mile radius, we probably had 12 to 15 stores, and some of them quite large. And we even had some dedicated, I think there was like 2 dedicated computer stores. That's all they had was computer stuff, and they had classrooms. I actually did some teaching in those classrooms for RadioShack, and I worked with RadioShack with them, not for them, but with them for several years in their computer area. That was a second job of mine, where I set up computers for small businesses. Anyway, moving on. So this is, like I say, this is kind of the last of the big catalogs. Got a lot of pages of introduction. And we're just going to briefly go through this. And if you have any questions, just let me know. So here is I'm just going to try to go through this, find this stuff that's kind of exciting. Phones were not exciting. I kind of surmised one of the downfalls of RadioShack was they spent too much time on phones. When cell phones came out, our local stores took a lot of their hobby stuff out of the stores and made room for these cell phones. And I think That was one of the reasons they kind of went downhill, because they weren't very competitive in the cell phone market. That's just my personal opinion. Okay. Let's just jump to the end and see how many pages this thing was. I don't know if it even tells me. 441 pages, or plus or minus a few. Big catalog. Tons of stuff. Everything. And they had, in the big stores local to me, they had most of this stuff in the stores. You didn't have to mail order back then. Here's the beginning of cell phones. This is, wow, these are old cell phones. I remember I had one similar to this. This is an Akoya. No, I didn't pronounce that right, but it doesn't matter. Bunch of other cell phone stuff. Now here's some ham radio stuff. Pagers. Walkie-talkies. Here's some kitty walkie-talkies. And then there's some little better walkie-talkies, business band radios. There's a ham radio, an HTX 252, 2-meter FM 25-watt radio. Pretty cool. Power supplies, low pass filters, meters, tuners. They had everything. I mean, I really liked RadioShack back in the days. Here is some shortwave radios. There is a DX98. I think I have one of those. I'm not positive. Now, a lot of their radios like this, or most of their radios like this, they didn't make. They bought from like Sangean and stuff like that and put their names on it. There's some CB stuff, antennas, all kinds of antennas, scanners. I have a lot of RadioShack scanners. They sold, again, they didn't make them. They sold some really great scanner radios. See if I can point out one I've got. I've got this one here, the 2067, the Pro 92. Like I said, I still got a lot of those. What is this? This is the Pro 89. I did not have that. Okay, that was their scanners, headphones, wireless headphones, micro recorders. Now, this is what amazed me is I did a couple of shows. I mean, I did a show a few shows ago, and one of them was on the Spirit of St. Louis radios, which are kind of a novelty thing. And here, RadioShack actually was selling one. And these you can get these on eBay used, of course. It's over $219, and I'm trying to find one for $50. That's in good shape. I've seen many for $50, but they were not taken care of. Pretty well beat up. I've seen this one, this one, this one, this one. I have not seen that one. So I'm still looking for one like this and some others similar to that. And we got TV stuff, portable TVs, handheld TVs, DVD and CD players, all these big monster VHF recorders. I still have a VHF recorder. I don't know why. I just haven't bothered clearing it out yet. There's no use for it. I just throw it away. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants those things. Antennas, they had tons of antennas. Yeah, I think I've gotten through most of the good stuff. Speakers. We'll jump on here. Okay, let me look in the chat room here. I see something pop up. Yeah, I don't think there are locales. Now, the thing is, there were Radio Shack owned stores and there were Radio Shack franchises. My brother-in-law owned a Radio Shack franchise. So the store was his, him with his inventory. That's how it worked. And there might be some of those still left. I don't know, and I meant to check on this. I don't know if there still exists Radio Shack, because for a while there, when they were shutting their stores down, you could still buy stuff from Radio Shack on the internet, on their website. I think that's still true, but I haven't checked it probably over a year, so I don't know. Let's see, the next comment is, okay, Flintock is talking about a catalog in the UK similar to this one. Alrighty, I think we are about, yeah. Phonograph needles. Well, boy, is the last time you had a phonograph needle? A lot of people, a lot of young people don't even know what a phonograph is. All kinds of parts, connectors. I mean, and like I say, the big stores here stocked most of this stuff. It wasn't cheap, but it was convenient. And I think that's another thing that may have killed Radio Shack is their prices were kind of high. So when there became more stuff online that you could order stuff for like half the price or less, that kind of was the demise of them too. I think that's about the most exciting stuff. And then they had computers. Whoop, there's routers. I think I accidentally skipped over the computers. Where are the computers? No, I thought I skipped over them. Maybe they're in the very back. I don't know where they are. They're in here, I think. I'm pretty sure there's computers in here. I had a lot of Radio Shack computers. Again, I worked with them and helped their customers set up their computers in their small businesses. That's strange. Where are... Huh. Well, it could be the reason I'm not finding any computers is this might have been the time when they came up with a separate computer catalog of just computer stuff. And that may be why, yeah, I think that's why there's none in this particular book. So anyway, this was kind of like the Sears Christmas catalog for me. Every year, as soon as it came out with a new one, I went and grabbed one. They did get to a point where you had to buy one, but luckily, since I worked with Radio Shack, the managers would always give me one. So that's it. Let's go turn the radio on for a second. Ooh, look at that thing out. I went out of focus there for a second. Okay, we got, and I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name, Palos Rob. He's from Illinois. Okay. You only see about half the catalog. Does that mean I didn't have it in view? That could be. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Let's go turn the audio back on my Grundig Satellite 800. And the preacher man is pretty weak now. Boy, really, he was really distorted. Let me tune WWV. Yeah, there's WWV. 10 megahertz. Probably 5 megahertz. It's kind of late for 5 megahertz. Yeah, that's gone. Let's try 9250. Ooh, noise levels jumped up. That's one thing about shortwave, though. It can be booming in, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And that's the case. What time is it? It's 10:40. About 10 o'clock when I was setting this up, it was coming in really good. Now, not so good. But we may be cutting this short. Because I'm not finding anything now. Let's see if I can find anything on the amateur radio band. Let's try 7200. Down. Okay, we want sideband. I went down too far. Well, that's gone too. Usually 40 meters is pretty good. I'm not getting anything. Boy, the band just shut down. We try upper sideband or lower sideband. Yeah. I was upstairs in my office about 6 o'clock using my SDR Play RSP1A SDR and my G5RV antenna, and I tuned to the 40 meter band, and it was just hopping with people. And I was hearing people all over the United States. I wasn't hearing anybody outside the United States, but I was hearing people up in Tennessee and Alabama, just like they were right next door. Matter of fact, I thought they were in Florida. And then when they gave the call sign and I looked it up, it was like, no, that ain't there. Yeah, I can feel for you people in northern Michigan and northern United States. Canada, oh my gosh, I can't believe the numbers they're saying. They're saying minus 20, minus 30, and that's without a chill factor? Oh my gosh. Oh. And I'm complaining about being 64 right now, almost 65 degrees in my workshop now that the dryer has been on for a while, and I got almost every light in this room turned on. But the shortwave band, it was here this morning, and now it's gone. Kind of typical of shortwave. The other thing is I can turn on, maybe, is my scanner radio. You know, I got that down. So I got my scanner radio. It's just now coming on. And what I have programmed into my scanner radio is a bunch of schools, which, of course, Saturdays, they won't be busy. A bunch of businesses, also local city frequencies. Matter of fact, let me get a... Let me get my little sheet here. This is...
Campbell. Go ahead. Man, 49100, please.
That was Pasco County, excuse me, jail. That's what that was. Pasco County Jail is probably, could be as far as 30 miles from it. Now, I'm using, what am I using? Let me see my little chart here of my antennas. Let's see. Scanner radio. What the heck is that's I pause every time something comes up. Oh, here it is. My RadioShack ground plane antenna. And it's probably up maybe 12 feet in the air. That's what that radio is using. Okay, that's same thing, channel 63. I pause when that opens up. 64 is also another frequency for Pasco jail. I take that back. That's the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office jail. So that's closer. That's about 10 miles from me. Can't even read my own writing. But I have programmed into this particular scanner. Oh, there's 4. What that is, these things are really busy. Let me turn this off for a second so I can talk. The last one you heard is actually Honeywell, where I used to work. It's about 11 miles from me, probably 9 miles line of sight, and that's their security department. And so I can, get a little insight on what's going on back at work via the security department. And I have, what I did is I used that, and I did a show on it a couple of shows ago. I did that, use that radio reference website and found all these, I'll call them utility stations, that are either in a couple of business bands, either the one around 155 megahertz or one around 160 megahertz. And there's a lot of business, including schools, hospitals, jails, other companies that still use radios. They don't. A lot of them have gone to cell phones, but there's still a bunch of them. I got just locally, I got 77 stations that I programmed into the scanner, and it can be kind of interesting to listen to. Now, for instance, there's a whole bunch of frequencies that are EMS, emergency frequencies, where they talk directly to the hospitals. So it's not a part of the trunking system for Pinellas County. So it's a little different in that you can still hear them on these 163 megahertz. Like I say, a lot of schools, Countryside Mall, I don't hear them too much. And when I do, it's most of the maintenance people, and most of them speak Spanish, so I have no idea what they're talking about. Let me check the chat room real quick. Okay, let me see if I dare try to scroll. One big problem I make with this little laptop is I use 2 fingers, and you don't want to do that, and I keep doing that. Trying to scroll up because some of the stuff has scrolled off the screen. No, that's not the right place to scroll. Bear with me. I'm always hitting the wrong thing. Okay, now I'm getting back to where I last looked at it. Okay, get that stupid. I got a little symbol of an arrow on the screen right over where the text is. That's dumb. Okay. What scanner are you using? Okay, I'm using an analog scanner. It is a RadioShack scanner. It's a BC380, I believe, TRRS. Nice little scanner. The point of my show that I did a couple of days ago was there's still plenty of stuff that you can listen to on these old scanners. You can get these old scanners for less than $40. I got this one for, I think, $15 or $25. It's still interesting list. Okay, next question was, Tom, are you going to upgrade to the new RS Play Duo at all? I personally would not pay for one of those. I don't really have a need for it. I'd love for them to send me one so that I can test it and compare it to my other two, my RSP1 and 1A. I'd love to be able to test it, but I really can't justify paying for one of those for my own use. Okay, cold in Indiana. I imagine it is cold in Indiana. Or any place north of mid-US. Okay, let me see if I can scroll down without screwing this thing up again. Okay, KC9KUH says he does have the RSP2 Pro, and he's really happy with it. I can imagine it is fantastic. I was really amazed at the additional features that the 1A had. And Rob, who's on the 741 YouTube channel, and I concluded, in our limited knowledge, that the RSP1A was the most recent design, since it had some features that none of the other ones had. That's our conclusion. That's not from the people at the factory. That was our conclusion. So again, I'd love to test one, but I really can't justify paying like $240 or whatever it costs for one, just for myself. I'm very happy with either one of them, the 1 or the 1A. They just blow all the other stuff away at a reasonable price. Now you can spend $300-400 for one, and I don't know if it's going to be that much better. It probably is better, but how much? I don't know. It's kind of the same boat I'm in with getting a digital scanner radio, standalone digital scanner radio. They're $400 to $500, and I can't really justify it. I do miss out on the fact that Pinellas County Fire, EMS, and police have gone to digital, but I kind of cheat in that there are 2 scanner radios in Pinellas County on the internet that I can listen to, and therefore I don't have to buy my own radio. But I'm limited to those 2 radios. Let's see what else. Okay, Flintock says he agrees that's an excellent radio, the RSP2 Pro. And KC9 says they're right up there with the Kenwood 2000. Yeah, Rob he was given one, and he's done several videos on his channel of the 2 Pro, and it's pretty impressive. Having that dual tuner, that's kind of nice too. That's one reason I would have one, to have the dual tuner so that I could run SDR Uno and hook up 2 different antennas and do antenna testing. That would be nice. So there, I do have a need for one, let's say. And that way, it's basically the same receiver, although it's two different tuners within the same box, but as close as you could get for comparison of antenna reception. So, yeah, that would be good for that. Because I do a lot of antenna testing and a lot of antenna comparison, and I have to do it kind of crudely with using antenna switches and stuff like that and different cables, and that can sometimes give you different results. Alrighty, let's see how we're doing. Let me just remind people what I'm doing here. I decided I would try to do a hangout this morning. I didn't know if it would work because I'm down in my workshop. I'm using an old dual core computer and an old HP little mini laptop for my monitoring of my chat room. And it seems, from what people are saying, it seems to be working. My biggest concern is dropouts of both the audio or video, but seems to be hanging in there. Now, I could get dropouts when my computer upstairs goes and interrogates my email. That takes a big toll on my internet provider signal, I'll call it. And so I could get a hit, and it does it about every 15 minutes or about 10 to 15 seconds. So I should have turned that off, and I didn't think about it. All right, let's see what else we got in the chat here. Another name I cannot pronounce. B-I-L-I-P. Do you see my RadioShack channel? If any, please give the suggestions. If any. Okay, I'll check it out on my matter of fact, I'm going to make it myself a note right here. Put down D-I-M-P-I. And what is your channel about? Oh, KC9 reveals that he had to get a newer computer system to run that 2 Pro on. That's one of my concerns. I think my computer I have upstairs, which is a quad-core computer, should work okay. Now, I've seen Rob, 741, run his Duo on a not the most powerful computer, and it seems to work fine. Alrighty. Oh, AC9 said he was using an old laptop. Yeah, old laptops typically are not as powerful as their counterparts, in other words, same vintage desktops. And I don't think I've ever tried to run SDR Uno software on a laptop, because my laptops are pretty old too. 8 or 9 years old, I'd say. So yeah, they couldn't hack it, and they're not even they're not even quad core or anything. They're just Pentium, just plain Pentium, so they wouldn't hack it at all. That's one upgrade I need to do, and I just haven't done it, is a laptop. I'm just overwhelmed by all the options out there for laptops and which one to get, and should I pay $500? Should I pay $1,000? I just haven't been able to make that decision. Anyway, moving on. Let's see how we're doing here. It's almost 11 o'clock, so I think I'm going to, unless you have more questions, I'm going to shut this down. I was amazed that it worked. If it indeed worked, I'll have to look at the video afterwards to see if I had very many dropouts. If I didn't, then I'll leave it posted. If I did, then I'll delete it. Rob, of course, we used to, not too long ago, do hangouts on the air together, but he's very busy at work and has not been able to do that. I'm hoping that he'll get some time so we can do some more of that, because he brings a lot of information to my show and to my listeners, and it's good for it's good to compare notes. And he's basically doing a lot of the same testing that I'm doing on radios and, for instance, SDRs. He matter of fact, go check out Rob's channel, 741, spelled out. He just uploaded a video, I think last night, where he tested the RSP1 versus the RSP1A. And that's something that we've been talking about doing and hanging on the air with. Now I have both of those, and he has both of those, to do a little comparison testing and compare notes and see if we see a big difference between those two. Because you can get the original RSP1 now used fairly cheap, very cheap, because the 1A, of course, has been out for over a year now. And they've stopped making the 1. So the question is, and I've brought this question up a couple of times, I've had the question brought to me several times, should I get a used 1 or should I pay, twice or 3 times the price and get a brand new 1A? And so that's still kind of up in the air. I think Rob, well, I don't want to spoil it. Check out Rob's most recent video of the 1 versus the 1A and what his conclusion was. So let me see if there's more in the chat, and then we'll try the radio one more time, and then we'll call it quits. Let's see, we got Solid Audio TV. David from Oregon. Can you briefly comment on shortwave and ham radio band conditions and what we should expect in the next few weeks? Well, you just missed, and maybe it's not totally over, but you just missed a great opportunity yesterday, last night, and early this morning. The solar flux index, which is just one indicator of shortwave listening conditions, was higher than it's ever been for a long time, for over a year. It was 75. And this morning, about 4 o'clock, I turned on my radios and the stations were booming in. And so I came down here kind of late. It was about 10 o'clock. And they were still pretty good. And so I set everything up to do this hangout. And by the time I get everything set up, the band went dead. Totally dead. Right now, my S meter is reading 0. And a few minutes ago, I tuned across the band quickly. I couldn't pick up anything, not even local stuff. My thoughts are, now this is just my personal opinion, the doctor who does a show on solar weather, I've shown clips of her shows many times, she was hinting that the solar cycle, which is an 11-year cycle of which the solar conditions change and they go from bad to good to good, bad to good, and it's a 11-year cycle. That's how long it takes for this to cycle. And that is a major factor on shortwave listening. When it's at its peak, or the solar flux number is, oh, the dryer just quit. About scared the crap out of me. I've been running the dryer to try to warm up the garage out here, which I call my workshop. It peaked of over 200, and it stayed over 140 for a long time. And you could just get all kinds of stations from all over the world, super strong. But then after it peaked, and this was probably 5 or 6 years ago, it started coming down on that curve. And as it's coming down, conditions got worse and worse and worse and worse. And so early 2018, it started dropping below a solar flux index of 100. You could barely get anything except the very local stuff, or occasionally the band would be good for maybe an hour or two. So we're in that bottom right now. We've been in that bottom for 4 or 5 months. Well, the doctor has indicated that maybe we're coming out of the bottom, which means we're going back up on the solar flux number, which means band conditions could improve. So yesterday, and she didn't predict this, I don't think she did for her weekly prediction. I don't remember saying anything about this. But yesterday, the solar flux index jumped from like 69 to 72. Now I say jumped because I only check the solar flux index maybe once or twice a day, and I haven't been checking it lately. But last time I checked it was probably Thursday, and it was like 69, and I checked it late yesterday, and it was 75. And indeed, shortwave reception had improved, but back in, I bet if I check it now, it's down probably below 70 again. So we want it to be above 100, and ideally close to 200. So it's going to be, just guessing, probably 3 or 4 months before we really see it coming back and improving consistently, not just a little spike, but consistently improving. So that's kind of where we are on shortwave listing. So let me check the chat room one more time. Okay, KC9 says 160. I think he means 160 meter band for the amateur radio band was packed with communications. Yeah, I can imagine it was, because the band conditions last night and early this morning were pretty good. I was listening to 40 meters early this morning, about 5 o'clock, and that band was packed this morning. So I think I'm about through. Okay, I got a comment over on my other computer. Well, actually, I got it on this computer. It says, "You're in trouble now. 741 sent me." LOL. Uh-oh. Did I say something bad about 741? No, I think I said something good. 741 is a good guy. He's probably freezing to death up in Connecticut, though. And I feel for him. Probably buried in snow. So I think we're going to wrap it up. I thank everybody for stopping by. This was, kind of unannounced. That's typical of me, of doing unannounced hangouts. One of the reasons I do hangouts on the air, it gives me the options that I can switch between a camera and my desktop, which I didn't do today, but I have that option. So that's one of the reasons that I use it. Plus, it's not to do a hangout is not as taxing on my computers, because a lot of the work is being done up on YouTube. A lot of processing and everything is done up on YouTube. So it makes it easier to do a recording. And I think you can still do a recording up to 8 hours. I'm not going to go for 8 hours. I'm not even going to go for an hour this time. All right, let's see what we got here. Flint Talk says, many thanks and have a great day. The best from the UK. Solid Audio TV says, thanks for the helpful info, Tom. Here, have a good weekend. And KC9 says, later on, Tom, have a good day. Well, good day to everyone. Again, thanks everybody for stopping by. I'm hoping to that Rob 741 will have some free time and we can do some more hangouts. They are very popular, especially when I have Rob. If you want to do a hangout with me and you have the capability, I'd love to do a hangout with anybody. It's much better when you've got somebody that also can talk about their experiences live. All righty. Mr. Lucky Train. Oh. Yep, you'll have to catch the broadcast, Mr. Lucky Train, because I'm about to sign off now that the dryer has finished. I'm in my workshop, which used to be, well, it was never a garage because it's too small. But of course, the washer and dryer are out here with me. And since it was so cold, I did a load of clothes and I turned on the dryer so that it helped me warm up out here. It's got up to 66 degrees, where it's about 46 outside. So that worked, but the dryer is done and the clothes are done. So that heat source is gone. So I'm going to call it a wrap. And thank everybody for stopping by, and have a great day and try to stay warm. Bye-bye.